you will be very familiar with defined contribution because most, if not all of you guys, are on one of these things. Yeah. So if you are employed, then your employer typically promises a monthly payment, and that monthly payment will be a certain percentage, let's say 5% of your monthly salary. Okay, so if your monthly salary was, let's say, $1,000, then they would take 5% of $1,000 or $50 and contribute it into your pension pot. Now, the accounting here from the point of view of the employer is really, really easy. They literally only promise the contribution, so that becomes the pension expense on the income statement. Those $50 get expensed, and as long as they keep up with the promised contribution, there's then no balance sheet impact at all. They don't have to record an asset. They don't have to record a liability. So really, there is nothing for us to do as CFA analysts here. The accounting for defined contribution plans is really easy. Now, the good news here for the employer is that once they've made that $50 payment, they have no future obligation, no future liability vis-a-vis the employee. So the employee now takes the $50, invests them into their pension pot. Maybe they buy the Magnificent Seven. Maybe they buy treasuries, or corporate bonds. You decide how to asset allocate the money, and therefore that pot will grow in accordance to the asset allocation. And one day, when you are ready to retire, that pot may be worth millions or maybe worth nothing. So there is no guarantee as to what pension payments you can be hoping to receive in the future. So that's not very advantageous from your point of view as an employee, but it is great from the point of view of the employer because he no longer has to worry about making any pension payments in the future. So this is the way forward. Most, if not all of you, as I said, are on defined contribution. So why on earth are we still studying this horrible defined benefit plans, which are really, really challenging from an accounting and analytical CFA/perspective? Well, the simple answer is that in the olden days, they were very, very popular, right? So if you were a pilot for an aviation company, you were showered with this amazing benefit. So traditionally, you'd look at the balance sheets of these aviation companies like British Airways, and you will find these huge pension obligations that they relate to the past, okay? But we still see them on today's balance sheets. That's why we are studying this topic. Now, of course, today you still may get defined benefit if you are a big fish CEO or if you work for the beloved government. Okay, now, how does defined benefit work? Well, the employer here promises you a pension payment in the future. This works a bit like state pension. So, for example, in the UK, if you work for 30 years, you make your national insurance contributions over a period of 30 years. I believe at current levels, the government will promise you a payment of £1,000 a month, and that's if you reach, let's say, age 67, 68. Not everybody lives up to that age, but if you do, then you are going to be getting £1,000, and obviously that's inflation index, so it will be higher by the time you retire. And of course, it may be different in your country, but the spirit of this is the same. Here, the employer will be promising a certain pension payment rather than a contribution. Okay, and they're typically pay related. So there is some kind of formula that determines your pension payment in the future. And I've given you an example here. Maybe the employer promises 2% times the years you worked for the company. And very, very critically, all this is based on the assumed final salary when you are going to retire. So there's a lot of assumptions here. For example, we're going to look at salaries growth rate, assumed salaries growth rate between today and the day you're assumed to retire. But just by way of example, let's say that you are going to be a very loyal worker, working happily for the next 30 years for this company, and your final salary is going to be $100,000. Now, in this case, the employee is working less, but with inflationary rises over the next 30 years, you will be earning 100,000 in the future. So basically saying you will be getting 60% of your final salary as a pension. So that is the promised amount, 60,000. And it is a sweet amount, I'm not going to lie, because it's guaranteed. You don't need to worry about this number being smaller in the future. It's guaranteed by the employer. Now, for the employer, as you can imagine, this is not lucrative at all because you've made a big promise as the employer. So this is going to have significant balance sheet impact. Most likely for most plans, this will be a liability. It is unlikely that this plan will be overfunded, but if it is overfunded, it would be showing an asset, as I shall explain later. Most of these plans are going to be showing a liability, and then the employer has to figure out a way to, first of all, A, make sufficient contributions, and B, invest those contributions in a way that meets the future promised liabilities.